At the beginning of the film, we observe a man who is in a half-abandoned house. Stan disposes of the human remains with petrol and a flaming match, and then leaves the burning house. The man then heads for a bus that takes him to the car park of a traveling circus. Stan notices a large queue piled up outside one of the marquees. The man is taken to a performance, where Clem demonstrates to the audience a man-beast that feeds on the liquid from animals deprived of life. After watching it, Stan meets the troupe, where he is offered a small part-time job. Together with the other circus performers, the man takes tents and equipment, after which he loads them into cars. The head of the circus offers Stan to stay with them for extra pay. The man gladly agrees to Clem's offer, and together with the troupe, moves to the new car park. During dinner, the alarm rises, because the man-beast has escaped. Together with the circus manager, Stan looks for the beast and engages in a fight with him in the room of fear, and wins. Clem shows the man his new sleeping place, and then offers him a permanent job. The boss promises that no one from the troupe will pester Stan with questions about his past life. During the night, the man has a terrible dream, and realizes that the man-beast reminds him very much of his father. In the morning, Stan observes a pretty girl who also works in the troupe. The man then goes to wash, where he meets Xena and her husband. The couple does a mind-reading show and suggests Stan join them. The fortune teller is sure that after a couple of shows, her husband Pete will teach the man a few of her tricks. After this conversation, Stan comes into relationship with Xena. Soon the man begins to participate in the performance. Together with Pete, they help Xena, standing on the stage, to pretend to read the thoughts and experiences of the audience. Because of her husband's intoxication, the fortune teller has to improvise, which also succeeds and amazes Stan. At dinner, the man asks Pete to demonstrate his talents. Xena's husband skillfully tells about Stan's past, and then reveals his secrets. In addition to signs, from words turning into words, Pete also uses the skill of cold reading. There are contradictions within each person, and it is Xena's husband's job to detect them through behavior, facial expressions, and gestures. Soon, Stan begins his study with Pete. He also observes Molly and tries to befriend the man-beast. Soon, the man suggests Molly to improve her electricity trick by adding a special chair for execution. One day, Stan is about to head into town when he is approached by some acquaintances. One man from the troupe warns that no one dare hurt Molly, for it will end badly for him. At night, the girl can't sleep, and Stan suggests she to dance a little. Spinning on the carousel, the man says that Molly is worthy of more. Stan proposes that the girl run away from the local circus to show her performance and not depend on anyone. Molly almost agrees, however. She unexpectedly runs away from the man and goes to her own place. Stan seeks out the circus manager and learns that their man-beast is about to leave this world. Clem takes the man to a local almshouse, where they leave the injured man. The pair then head to a diner, where Stan asks where the circus boss found such a man-beast. Clem admits that he created it himself. First, the circus owner finds a suitable drunkard who is willing to do anything. Clem then slips opium into his drink and emphasizes that the job is temporary. After a couple of weeks, the circus owner pretends to fire the drunkard, saying that he can't cope, and then has a tedious conversation about what would happen to someone who abruptly stops drinking and returns to the streets. Clem then throws his victim a chicken, and most give up, turning into real wild animals, devoid of anything human. Upon returning home, the man goes to Pete's house. Xena's husband tells him about the secret signs by which he understands what object the viewer is talking about. Stan considers the secret language and its creator to be the height of perfection. After the class, Pete asks the man to get him a drink. Stan goes to Clem's tent and takes the bottle, leaving the money behind. Finding Pete asleep, the man puts the drink on the bedside table and begins to study a notebook with a secret cipher. Xena's husband takes the notebook away from Stan and says that the overuse of this language breeds pride and the feeling that you are really a magician. This, Pete assures, affects not only innocent audiences who believe in God, but also the soul of the soothsayer himself. The lie becomes so convincing that you can no longer imagine that it wasn't once true for you. Pete decides to have a drink, unaware that a man has mistakenly brought him methanol. In the morning, Zena's husband leaves this world to the loud sobs of his wife. Soon, the cops are about to visit the circus. Stan warns the circus owner, and he hides the man-beast. The man then uses Pete's tricks to tell the police chief about his mother and childhood, convincing him that he is not a charlatan. Zena observes it with interest. After the performance, Molly says that she is ready to run away with the man, because now she has realized that a successful future awaits them. In the morning, Stan asks Zena if he can keep her husband's notebook. The fortune teller agrees, because the man has rightfully earned it, and yesterday's performance with the chief of police proves it. Stan thanks Zena and then leaves with his girlfriend. Molly begins to learn a secret cipher to give the man information about his clients. At the first performance, Molly gives the wrong clue, causing the man to snap at her. During the second performance, a charming blonde comes forward. Lilith declares that everything that happens on stage is a hoax, set up with verbal signs. Stan prevents himself from being exposed and informs her that there is a weapon in the blonde's purse. The man talks about Lilith's horrible past, which sometimes makes her wish to end her life. After the seance, a man named Charles asks for a private session for him. At first, Stan refuses because one of the rules is not to perform off stage. However, pride and a good reward force him to change his mind. Next to Charles continues to stand Lilith, who is observing with interest. Molly is very angry at the man for breaking the rules. As a result, Stan is forced to go to the session alone. Arriving at the place, the man finds himself in a room where Lilith is waiting for him. Talking to her, Stan reveals his secrets of reading other people's thoughts. The man offers Lilith to work together. Stan wants to get information about Judge Charles from the woman, as she knows him very well. Lilith agrees and tells him that the judge has lost a son named Julian. Molly feels depressed, for the man hardly pays any attention to her. The girl calls her friend from Clem's circus, but hides the truth of her condition from him. Meanwhile, Stan goes to the woman for a session of psychoanalysis as payment for information about Charles. The first session goes rather disturbingly, and the man soon leaves Lilith. Returning home, Stan sees that his girlfriend has invited friends from the circus, among whom is Zena. The fortune teller privately advises the man to stop practicing spiritualism. Zena tells fortunes to Stan and sees that he will soon be overthrown and lose himself. However, the man doesn't believe this and says that he can fix anything. After that, Stan finally holds a session with Charles, which brings him a good profit. The man visits Lilith to give her half of the proceeds. However, the woman refuses, saying that she has already got what she wants. A couple of days later, Lilith says that the judge asked the man to hold a seance for his friend Grindle. The woman is against this idea because her former client is extremely unstable and dangerous, but very rich. The latter factor is too interesting for Stan to refuse the session. The man visits Grindle and is given a polygraph test. To convince the client, Stan pretends to communicate with his lover, who has lost her life. The man visits Lilith and asks for more information about Grindle. Lilith refuses, as she considers this venture unwise and dangerous. While the woman is washing her face, Stan secretly makes an imprint of her keys to steal records about Grindle. Lilith unbuttons her jacket, after which they are alone together. Stan makes a copy of the keys, after which he secretly sneaks into the woman's office and finds the Grindle records. The man once again meets with the client, and using the information found about Dory, finally convinces him of his skills. Grindle begs Stan to materialize his favorite lady. The man decides to use Molly to turn her into the man's favorite lady. The girl agrees, however, finds a drawing of Lilith in a notebook. When the man returns, he finds a letter from Molly that she is leaving him. Stan catches up with the girl at the train station and convinces her to return. Finally, The man holds a seance for Grindel with the presence of the fake Dory. The news, however, reports the voluntary passing of Charles and his wife. During the seance, Grindel breaks free and runs to Molly. The girl cries and confesses to the deception. The client attacks Molly and Stan takes his life. The man also has to eliminate an assistant who could tell the truth. Molly abandons Stan and leaves. The man goes to Lilith for support, where he complains that Molly has thwarted his incredible case. He also learns that Lilith has also betrayed him. The woman kept a recording of their conversations to expose Stan. In addition, Lilith took all the money that the man had painstakingly earned during his conversations with Grindel and Charles for herself. The woman calls Stan a lowlife because it was not him who deceived the people who came to his sessions, but they deceived themselves. Lilith pulls a gun out of her purse, after which she wounds the man. Leaning over Stan, the woman says that she won and showed him who he really is. Lilith believes that the man was transferring his feelings for his mistress, Molly, and his mother onto her. Stan decides to strangle the woman, but the woman manages to call the police to his office. The man hides from the police in a carriage and manages to remain undetected. In a dream, Stan recalls his abuse of his father. The man visits Clem's circus and learns that it has gone bankrupt. After that, Stan goes to other circus performers and offers them to hold a mentalism show. The director refuses, as their circus doesn't do such things. Stan agrees to become a man-beast, saying that he was born to do it. The man laughs and cries as he realizes that he has finally lost himself. This is the end of the film. Thank you all for watching this video to the end. Give this video a like. Write in the comments what you think about this film, and see you in new videos.